This is Lesson 1, Getting Started with Outlook 2019. To be successful in Microsoft Office Outlook, you need to know how to navigate the interface and know how to perform basic email functions like creating and sending an email, reading and responding to an email, and even printing or deleting an email. Additionally, if you find yourself needing some assistance while using the interface, you need to know how to use the Outlook Help tool to provide you with the necessary information. Knowing the interface and how to use its components will enable you to perform any of the basic email functions that will be required of you in an email-friendly work environment. In this lesson, you will navigate the Outlook interface, read, respond to, delete, and print messages, and access Outlook Help. So topic A, beginning on page 2, is navigating the Outlook interface. Knowing how to navigate within the Outlook interface and how all of the components of the application function will help you become familiar with the ins and outs of the Outlook environment before you even begin working with the application. When you are comfortable and familiar with the tool and how it works, you will be able to easily use the application to begin sending and receiving emails. So email, we know, is electronic mail, and it refers to electronic mail messages that can be delivered and exchanged between one sender and one or more recipients. Everyone has an email address assigned to them from our Exchange server through our server at school. And if you look in your folders pane, which is the left pane in your interface, it's listed under favorites and also listed right underneath that. It is your first initial, last name, at mos.local. And there's 3 parts to your email address. So the first part is your local part, and this is a unique username made up of alphabetic and numeric characters and possibly special characters like an underscore. So none of those special characters for our email addresses. Again, just our first initial and last name. Then immediately following that, you have your @ symbol. And then your third part is your domain part. And this is a host name and a standard extension such as .com, .net. Ours is .local. Okay? So that is your email address for your Outlook account in school. Now, very important before we even get into learning about Outlook. Our Outlook application for Bar PC strictly is for sending messages inside of our school. So any email addresses outside of the mos.local, our Exchange server, will not be received. So if I was to send an email account from this email address to, let's say, my Gmail account, it would not be received. So it's strictly for sending and receiving messages to other students in class, so students in my class, students in Rob's class. Also, any former students that I have had are still listed on the server. Myself, Rob, the other instructor, and also Bryant. So those, and Chris as well. So those are the people that you can send and receive messages through this Outlook application. Again, don't send important messages through this client. You know, if you're trying to apply it to a job, please don't send your resume from Outlook. They will not receive it, okay? Just use your personal email account for that kind of stuff. This is just for learning how to use the application. Okay, so in Outlook, there's 2 items that you'll be interacting with, and those are items and folders. So those are your 2 basic elements. And items in Outlook contain the information that you are viewing or working with. And these include any email messages, calendar entries, such as meetings or appointments, contact information, any tasks, and any notes that you create. And then your folders are the organizational containers in which items in Outlook are stored. So folders are most often used to organize your email messages. Some folders are included as defaults but you can manage your own as well. And your defaults, you can see to the left in my folder pane, we have the inbox, drafts, sent items, deleted, junk email, your outbox, RSS feeds, and also your search folders. So these are your defaults. And to take a look at a few of our interface elements, at the top of the application window, you have your title bar. So this is located at the very top of the window, and it displays the title of the folder where you are currently located, the name of the email account you're viewing, and the name of the application. So right now I'm currently located in my inbox, has my email address, egroff@mos.local, and then the application I'm using, which is Outlook. Then in the upper right hand corner, we have our application window controls. These buttons are used to show or hide the ribbon. You have the auto hide ribbon. You can show the tabs, or you can show all tabs and commands. I always suggest using this bottom button always. Then you have your minimize button to minimize the window, your maximize or restore down button, and then your close button to close out the whole application for Outlook. In the top left corner, we have our quick access toolbar, which we know displays a number of commands that are commonly used within the interface, providing easy access to these. Then we have our main toolbar, which we are pretty much all familiar with, that it is known as the ribbon. And the ribbon is broken into ribbon tabs. So this is located below your title bar, and the ribbon is comprised of multiple tabs that each contain buttons and commands used to perform actions within the Outlook interface. The tabs and the buttons contained on each tab are grouped by function. So remember, your ribbon is broken into tabs. Each ribbon tab is then broken into command groups that are listed along the bottom. And then within each command group, you have your individual commands. And remember, as you hover over the different commands, you can get a screen tip, which tells you the name of the command, the keyboard shortcut, if one's available, it will be listed in your parentheses, and then it will show a short description of what that command does. So you can see this particular one, reply all, and the keyboard shortcut is Control, Shift, and the letter R. And this is to reply to the sender and all other recipients of the message. And to the right of our ribbon tabs, we have our Tell Me box. And this is a new feature used to search for a specific action, to access online help documents, or to access the Smart Lookup pane. Then we have our folder pane. This is located on the left side of the window. So this is your folder pane right here. And it displays all of the folders available in the Outlook environment for the email account you are viewing, including the inbox for the account. And you can customize which folders are displayed and the order in which they are listed. Then in the middle of our mail view, listed here, this is what we call our content pane. Content, C-O-N-T-E-N-T. And this displays all of the individual items within the specific folder in which you're located. For instance, when the inbox folder is selected, the content pane displays the message list of the messages currently in the inbox. The contents of this pane will change to reflect the currently selected folder or Outlook item. So you can see if I switch to my drafts folder, my content pane shows only the items that are located in that particular folder. All right, and then to the right of the content pane, we have our reading pane. And this displays the contents of the Outlook item you have currently selected, such as the contents of an email message, and it provides a preview of the contents of the item before it is opened in a separate Outlook window. So here I have a message from Christine with the subject About Us. I have that selected in my content pane, so I can actually view that just by single clicking on the message. You can see single clicking will change the reading pane on what I have selected. It shows a preview of that message in the reading pane to the right. Now, if I was to double click that message, instead of single clicking, it opens in its own separate window. So you'll see in Outlook, we have many instances where we'll get a separate window. Okay, so this just what we call pops out the window into a new individual application window. Okay, but you can always view it just in the reading pane by single clicking. All right, right above the content pane, we have the sort bar. This is right along here. And it displays the titles of the columns that are currently being shown for your Outlook items and can be used to arrange or sort how the items are displayed in the pane. You could sort by subject, size. You can see mine are sorted by date, and that is your default. You want to have your messages sorted by date until we get into the different ways to sort here. So they are sorted starting with the newest located at the top. Then right above that we have our instant search box, and this is used to enter a term or keyword, and it searches your Outlook items for instances of that item. It then displays the resulting items that contain that term somewhere in their contents. So if I was searching for, let's say, icon, you can see it starts searching my inbox for anything with the word icon. It comes up with Christine's message in the subject, Chris icon samples. And we'll get into this more. If I close that out, it brings me back to my main contents. All right, so that's your instant search box. Then we have what we call our to-do bar. And by default, the to-do bar is not displayed in Outlook. When displayed, you can choose to show calendar, your people, or tasks content on the far right side of the Outlook window. And to do this, I would go to my View tab on my ribbon, and in my Layout command group, here I have a drop-down for my to-do bar. I can choose to display contents for my calendar, and this will show the calendar grid and any events coming up. You can see they pop up right below that, and I get a check mark that I'm showing the calendar on my to-do bar. I can also show people, where I can search very quickly for any contacts that are saved in my Outlook. And from that drop-down, I can also add any tasks that may be coming up in the near future. So you can pick and choose which ones you want displayed on your to-do bar, if any. Again, by default, it is turned off. And I can turn all of those off by checking this, and it automatically closes out for me. Okay, next we have our navigation bar. And your navigation bar is listed directly under your folder pane. These little icons on the bottom here. This is your folder pane. Sorry, this is your navigation pane. And your navigation pane displays launch buttons for the other Outlook views like the calendar, people, and task views. By default, the buttons are displayed in compact view as small icons. So right now I'm in my mail view. You can see the envelope is selected on the navigation pane. Now Outlook is not just for email, like a lot of people actually think. You can see the next icon I have is a calendar. Completely changes the view of my Outlook application. I still have home, send, receive, folder, and view, but the command buttons are going to be completely different in my calendar view. And we'll have chapters related to just working with our calendar. We're just getting an overall look at our layout of our application right now. The next icon is for our contacts. This is known as our people view. You can see my contacts You may not have any listed in there right now, but we will add some in there for you when we get to that. So this is for any contacts you email on a daily basis. You want to keep their information, phone numbers, things like that. Again, you can see that the tabs are the same. Commands are completely different based on the view that you're in. Next, we have our tasks view, which is the clipboard and the check mark in it. Any things that you need to do for yourself, you can add a task for it. I need to complete Chapter 2 by the end of today. You could make that a task in here. Again, ribbon tabs are the same. Command buttons completely different. Then we have this 3 little dot icon at the end here. And this has additional options for your navigation pane. We'll get into how to change the options here, but we can also switch to our notes view as well. So if you want to, save a tiny little message, kind of like a post-it note. That's what they look like. You know how you write yourself a note, stick it on a post-it, put it on your monitor. You can actually do that digitally as well in Outlook. So it's a really handy feature there. So those are all of your different views that you can access in Outlook. All right, so those are your different user interface elements. Title bar, you have your ribbon, quick access toolbar, your folder pane, your content pane, your reading pane, navigation pane, and also we have our last one along the bottom. This is shown in all Microsoft applications. We have our status bar. And this displays information related to the currently selected folder, such as the number of items in the folder, if the folder is up to date or is currently sending or receiving information, and more. You can see I have my inbox selected right now. It tells me the number of items in my inbox is 7, with 3 of those being unread. The folder is up to date. I am connected to my Microsoft Exchange server. Also has different views that you can change from, normal or reading. You can see that collapses my folder pane. And also has my zoom slider, so I can zoom in on that reading view if I need to. Zoom in on the message. All right, so all of your different user interface elements. All right, so let's see what we got next here. The Backstage view, we can select by clicking on our File tab. And this is a feature provided in all Microsoft Office products, and it offers a single location to manage features and properties of either the Outlook application or the current item. So your actual Backstage view, this is important as well. Right now I'm in my main Mail view. So you can see the options I have in my Backstage view would be for changing the whole entire application. If I have an individual message open, I open Christine's About Us message. When I click my File tab from this window, these options relate only to this specific message. So you can change options for your whole application or for an individual message by opening that up. Okay, so we saw our Mail view, and this is the default view in the Outlook environment. The Mail view is where you work with the email messages that you create and send, as well as the ones that you receive. We have our default mail folders, our inbox. By default, the inbox folder is opened when Outlook is launched. The inbox displays all of the email messages and meeting invitations or responses that have been received by the user. The items in the inbox are displayed in the View pane in the Outlook interface, and the contents of the selected or active item is displayed in the Reading pane. Okay, so not only do I receive messages in my inbox, you can see this one is which we'll get into. It's actually a meeting invitation. So that comes through as a message where I can accept it or decline it, and there are other options as well. So don't think these are just email messages. You may also get meeting invitations as well. We also have our drafts folder, and this stores copies of email messages that are in progress of being composed or have been composed and not sent yet. You can access these unfinished messages in the folder at a later time to be completed and sent. Then we have our sent items folder. This stores copies of Outlook items that you have previously sent, including email messages, meeting invites, and meeting responses. By default, items that you send are stored here, though you can configure these items to be saved in an alternative location. Then you have your deleted items folder. This stores all of the Outlook items that you have deleted from other folders. Your junk email. The junk email folder stores any email messages from unknown or untrusted senders that appear to be spam or junk mail. Then you have your outbox. This folder temporarily stores email messages that have been sent while they are in the process of being delivered to the recipient. Then we have RSS feeds, and this is a folder used to access the items from websites you have subscribed to using an RSS feed. And then lastly, we have our search folders. This is used to access any search folders you have created in Outlook to search for specific keywords or phrases. So we'll be using all of these and learning different things about them as we go along. Okay, we have unread and read messages in our inbox right now. And Outlook visually differentiates the messages in your message list that are read or unread. If a message is unread, the subject line displays in blue. For instance, this message from Christine with the subject, "We're hiring." You can see I have not read this message yet. The subject line is in dark blue, and I also get a vertical blue bar to the left of the message as well. So that signifies that your messages are unread. Once read, you can see that subject line just becomes regular here. You can see these first two messages I have read already, so that vertical line disappears and also the subject line gets your regular text. So that's how you can differentiate those from your email folders. In your content pane, you will see different icons for different messages. For instance, Christine's message here, we see a little paper clip. That means that there is an attachment attached to that email message. If I look at that, she has an About Us text file attached to the email. So, for instance, when you're sending your resume to someone and you attach that to the email message, that would come up with the paperclip icon. This message, "We're hiring" from Maureen. That little envelope icon with the right pointing arrow, that means this message has been forwarded to someone else. If you ever see an exclamation point, I can actually add this. Let's see. There we go. Importance. You can see now I have a red exclamation in my message there. That means the message is high importance, and it means it contains important and potentially time-sensitive information. It should be read or replied to as soon as possible. So we'll see how to add, high importance or low importance to messages, but just note if you see that icon come up, that is what it means. And then you may also see a flag, such as this one shown here. and this means that the message is flagged for follow-up. The flag icon serves as a reminder that you need to follow up with an action or a response to this email by a certain date or time. And you can see that there are additional icons that you might see. This little calendar one, that means that this is a meeting request. And the little bell icon signifies that there is a reminder about the meeting time that will display for you. Okay, and we saw our calendar view, and this is used for scheduling and managing any personal or professional events that you are participating in. The calendar view contains two main components. You have your folder pane and you have your calendar grid. So your folder pane is to the left, and then your calendar grid shows in your main space to the right. And your default view for your calendar grid is going to be your month view. That can be changed on your home tab in your arrange group. You can see month is selected here. Or on your view tab in your arrangement group, you can also select that here. And we saw our contacts view. This is used to create and manage your own personal address book of people with whom you communicate on a regular basis. The contacts view contains three main components. On the left, you have your folder pane. Then you have your content pane in the center, which displays your contacts. And then your reading pane to the right, which will display the details of the currently selected contact. And next we had our tasks view, which we saw. And this is used for creating and managing personal tasks that need to be completed. You can assign tasks to yourself or other people. You have your folder pane, your content pane, which will list all of your tasks, and then your reading pane. If you have a task selected here, it will show the details of it. So since I flagged this message from Christine for follow-up with a flag here, it's telling me that is a task that I need to follow up with. And then our notes view, remember we can switch to that by selecting the three dots at the end here and selecting notes. And this feature is used to keep track of project and personal information. Notes allow you to capture important information that you don't want to forget or lose track of and save within your Outlook environment. All right, and the last thing we need to know in our different Outlook views, using our navigation pane, if I wanted to take a look at, let's say, any meetings or appointments that I have coming up without physically changing to my calendar view, I can actually, from my mail view, when I'm still in mail view, I can just hover over the icon and it gives me what we call a peek. And that allows you to see a preview of your other views without having to change the active view. So I can stay in my mail view and I can take a calendar peek, I can take a contacts peek, I can do a task peek. So if I have any tasks coming up, hover over that. This is known as task peek. And I believe that is a quiz question for Thursday. That's going to be your task peek. All right, the next video will be Activity 1. Activity 1.1 on page 13.